Hello everybody, welcome back to C&S Corvettes in beautiful sunny Sarasota, Florida. It's your Corvette buddy Lyle here to talk to you about more interesting, exciting, and hopefully helpful Corvette stuff. Today we are doing another episode of Ask C&S, where we take some of the questions that we've gotten via email or the comments to the videos, and I do my best to answer them in a succinct but hopefully helpful way. And remember, if you have questions that you would like answered by us, put them in the comments section below after you watch the video, because that's where we get most of this material. All right, guys, once again, Tony has filled the C&S Corvette's trucker hat of mystery with these questions. I have not read them. This is all going to be kind of spur of the moment, so I'll do my very best. Question number 1. This gentleman writes, I restored a 74, which I've owned for 40 years, and after the restoration, I find that both driver and passenger power windows struggle when it comes to closing completely when the door is closed. I suspect that the all-new door jam seals and the inner and outer door glass seals are causing a lot of friction. I replaced the window motors to no avail. Okay, so yes, I agree, this guy is right. Part of the problem is when you've put all new weather strip on a car and everything is really, really still very stiff and it hasn't really kind of molded to the car yet, that can be a real problem. Can also be a problem if you're not buying the onion skin style weather strip that's kind of got a smooth sheen to it. If yours feels like the rubber on the side of a tire, it's very hard for your window to slip up over that. That's why I recommend, if you're going to buy weather strip, buy it from a company that makes it with the onion skin coating and that it fits correctly. This is why all of our weather strip comes from CorvetteRubber.com. They make it all here in the United States and they make the best quality stuff. Secondarily, if he has what I would assume to be new power window motors, they're most likely Chinese made, and the Chinese tend to cheat on the number, thickness, and quality of the copper windings in the motors. So they tend to get very hot, very fast, and not produce enough torque to smoothly operate things. If you truly want to solve this problem, odds are you're going to need to locate a set of original OEM power window motors and have them rebuilt, put fresh gears in them, and then I imagine your problem will disappear. Question number 2. Hi, Lyle. I know this is an older Q&A link, but thought you could help me here. Well, you're right. Here we go. My 2004 Corvette needs the interior ambient temperature sensor, the one behind that little small vent panel. Where in the heck do I find one of these that are not used, or an eBayer wanting $200 for one with no guarantee? Love your channel and your knowledge. Thank you, sir. Terry in West Virginia. Well, Terry, unfortunately, you've already said the two options you have. You're going to have to find a used one because there are no reproductions. And the problem is, it is difficult to find one of these sensors that doesn't have the plastic housing around it crumbling from age. If you do, they can bring $100 to $200 all day long. What I will say, though, is that most eBayers, when they're selling a sensor, are going to give you at least some sort of warranty, be it 10 days, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever it is, at least long enough to where you can go in and test it, make sure it works, so that you're not just throwing money down the toilet. If the vendor you're looking at currently on any item doesn't offer any kind of returns or any kind of guarantees, you probably want to move on to another vendor. Question number 3. My 1986 C4 radio can't hold a signal, plus cassette player doesn't play after years of garage storage. Yeah, you are right. There are almost no availability for the belts and the drive pulleys and stuff inside cassette players anymore. Even Dr. Don's Pro Audio in Texas, who is the specialist when it comes to C4 Bose radios, has said there's just no parts. You're not going to get your tape deck to work. Thankfully, there are plenty of Bluetooth options that you can, like the little adapter you can plug into your 12-volt outlet or your cigarette lighter in the older car, and you'll be able to broadcast over your radio. Now, the other problem you say is that your radio can't hold a signal. That is most likely because either you have an antenna problem or an internal radio problem. I recommend you reach out to Dr. Don's Pro Audio in Texas and see what he says about it. He may be able to offer a solution, or worst comes to worst, it may be time just to upgrade the radio to something a little more modern. Question number 4. Good Saturday morning, May 9th of 2026. I have a 2006 convertible Z51 here in Port Charlotte, near us here in Florida. There's virtually no free play in the clutch pedal. Is this an adjustable condition? Thank you, Rich. Okay, Rich. First thing you need to do is check your fluid level for your clutch system. If it is low, if it is extremely dark, I recommend flushing that system out using the Ranger method if you don't have a remote bleeder. I also recommend if you can bleed the master and or the slave to do that. That's a little difficult on those cars. But most likely, if you're not getting any free play at all, my guess would be either your clutch master cylinder and or your clutch slave cylinder are compromised, and it's probably time to have the car diagnosed professionally. Hopefully it's the master, which doesn't involve a whole lot of labor to replace. If it's the clutch slave cylinder, you're going to be doing a torque tube and probably a clutch and a bunch of other stuff because you're going to have to gut that car like a fish to get it out. Question number 5. Do I need a front end alignment when I drop the steering rack to replace the harmonic balancer? In theory, you shouldn't need to do an alignment because you're not going to be changing the positions of the tie rod ends at either end of the steering rack, and the steering rack only bolts in one exact place, so it's not going to be out of place. As long as you don't mess with the tie rod ends, you should not need an alignment. It's never a bad time to do an alignment, but technically, no, you shouldn't need one. Question number 6. 2004 commemorative convertible, 13,000 miles, having battery draw issues. Battery is an Optima and is now 3 years old. Took out power seat fuses. Could you give any other suggestions? Might take it to AutoStore and have alternator tested. I would say take it to the store and have not only the alternator tested, but have that battery tested. At 3 years old and being an Optima, I'm not really in love with Optimas in the Corvettes, at least here in Florida where it gets so hot and the cars tend to sit for long periods of time. The Optimas don't respond well to that. But yeah, have the battery checked, check your ground, and check your alternator. Make sure that all of those are working. If all of that is green light, then you need to have a technician who is going to go through your system with a multimeter and determine what system has the draw on it, and then he can, from there, dig down to see what item or component in that system is causing your draw. It is certainly solvable, but you're probably going to need professional help on that one. Question number 7. Oh, excuse me. Do you know any shops like yours that focus on Camaros? Love the videos. Well, thank you. I don't personally, so I did a little internet search. It appears the one that comes up most frequently is a place called Hawks, Hawks Motorsports in South Carolina. They are the closest thing that I could find to a dedicated shop like ours that works on only Camaros. So check them out. Question number 8. Okay, this 2019 ZR1 does not have the active fuel management, which is great. However, my question, did GM upgrade the drive shaft? No, it is the same carbon fiber unit that you find in the C7 Z06, but the ZR1 did have a stronger transmission, a stronger differential, and more aggressive axle ratio to put the power down. GM did not see a need to do anything different with the ZR1 than they did with the Z06. And that has not been a major point of failure in any of those cars. Question number 9, really brief one. Hey C&S, how reliable is the 1995 Corvette Coupe with the manual transmission? Well, as you've probably heard me say on the channel before, according to J.D. Power, the 1995 Corvette was the most reliable, best-built Corvette that they ever offered due to the relatively low number of regular complaints about the cars. Specifically the ZR1 in that year, but overall, 1995 was a very strong year for Corvette, and as long as the car has been well maintained and well cared for, it would be an excellent choice if you want a C4 Corvette with a manual transmission. Question number 10. Bit of a longer one. I'll make it as quick as I can. Thank you to the C&S team and you, Lyle. You're welcome. I have a question for the next series. Here we are in the next series. I have a 1975 Corvette Stingray convertible. I was wondering, when I throttle up my engine when I'm driving and it's warm outside, I notice the engine cuts out on and off. I've heard of vapor lock. Is that what it is, or is it something else? What should I look out for, and what can I do to fix this? Thank you for all what you do for us Corvette enthusiasts. Again, you're welcome, and thank you. Well, to this gentleman, here's what I would say. From your brief description of the problem you're having, I would say that you probably have a fuel boiling problem. Now, that could be happening in a couple of different ways. And of course, fuel boiling, for those of you who aren't familiar, does kind of lead to vapor lock. But let's just go through. So you can have fuel boiling in your carburetor. If any of the metal fuel lines coming up from the fuel pump are touching anything on the engine, you can boil fuel in your fuel lines. That would be my first thing. You can also buy the foil, like heat wrap, to go around your metal fuel lines to insulate them from the engine heat a bit. And you can get a phenolic gasket spacer to go under your carburetor to help dampen some of the heat soak from the engine going into your carburetor. Couple other possibilities. Your ignition module, or your ignition coil, could be going bad internally. And if you're being a 75, that would also probably be an HEI. You got to make sure that the HEI module is healthy, and that there is like an insulatory level, like almost like a paste at the bottom of that where the HEI module sits. If that has degraded or is missing, just get a whole new cap and rotor assembly with a new HEI module. It's going to be one of, or a combination of those things, in my opinion, just from the information you provided. And finally, number 11, my question would be, is there any way I can get a higher torquing motor for these windows? Please let me know. Thanks, Patrick. Again, that's kind of a similar question to the one the guy asked earlier. I'm assuming he's talking about a C3. A used or a rebuilt OEM is always going to be better than the Chinese options, unfortunately. I wish there was a fire and forget, brand new in the box, send it to your customer, and man, it's going to work every time. There just isn't a reproduction at that level that I'm aware of. If you've heard of a reproduction that is that good for the C3 power windows, put it in the comments below and let me know about it. All right, my friends, that concludes today's Ask C&S video. I hope you found it informative. And of course, I hope this causes you to put some questions for us in the comments below for our next round of Ask C&S. We'll be back later this week with more exciting stuff. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week.